Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. This is Crossing Cultures with Christina, Luna, and The View, because once a month we have a roundtable with my beautiful friends, collaborators here, Karen Stone, the blondie, and Carissa Gehring, the youngie.
The young
The youngie. So you know that every month we have a guests every week, but the last week of the month, Friday, we have these two beautiful women, and we talk about current things and we discuss things that we think you would be interested to. At least we are interested, right?
That's right.
Right. So we cross cultures with our own experiences. I know this month I want to talk about something that happened that was a big hit. Be careful with social media. So let me explain to you. The most famous restaurant in the world is called Noma. It's in Denmark, Copenhagen, the capital, right? Super expensive, top of the world. That chef, the owner, very creative, very inventive. He's Danish and from Macedonia, like the former Yugoslavia. And he grew up there in the rural area, in the farms. So he was used to natural foods, like getting ingredients from they grow, from the land, from whatever it was available. So years later, he created this restaurant. And couple of years ago, he closed it to make it experimental, right? And pop-up restaurants were happening. One is supposed, I don't know if it opened in LA this month or next month, but one of the managers that work there, the fermentation manager, so look how specialized it was. He was working with fermented products. He started gathering all the stories in social media of how he, the owner, Rene Redzepi, abused his staff. I don't know if you read about it, but it was like incredible. I was horrified. So this has made a scandal. He had to resign. All the sponsors of the pop-up restaurant, went away. And he was crying and he apologized, but he did terrible things. So I wanted to discuss with you about that, and if you didn't know about that, our listeners, this is really interesting and fun, but in a way. And how is the world behind the clients, in the kitchens behind a bar, because you both have worked, right?
Oh yeah, I used to be a bartender. I would say that I never ran into like horrible bosses, but I had horrible coworkers. And worst coworkers were women. When I first started, yes, you would hear them whispering like they helped me out. They didn't like go above and beyond to try and help this new girl out. They were mad the girl was brought in. So that's the kind of thing I've always had really good bosses, thankfully, but I've heard horror stories about bosses.
No, I want to hear all about that. What the kind of things would the girls do to you?
Well, they wouldn't help me out. Like, they wouldn't say, like, I was actually doing something wrong. Or if I asked where something was, they'd say, oh, it's over there, and it wouldn't be over there. And I'm trying to be in a hurry to help out customers. And they're like, oh, it used to be over there. Now it's over here. And it's just, and when they do it, well, you can tell. It's like a like grin or whatever, looking at each other. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened to helping other people out? So,
And you know what? In this country, everything is based, now is your turn, Carissa, in tips, not in our countries, in Europe. So I guess that here is like a warrior. Every new person is like, oh, they're going like steal my tips.
yeah, yep.
That's so sad to hear because I feel like, I mean, I haven't had the opposite, but I've had people like where we are actually working together and, we bus and it kind of like makes it move a little smoother. But funny thing, I've actually heard, like when Perkins, it's the old Perkins now, closed down there on 209, they were hiring one time and I mean, they get good money. It's like right off the highway. And people were like, no, they're cutthroat over there. The ladies who work there are cutthroat.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay.
Like, why? To give us examples. We want the juiciness, the juice here.
No, I mean, just as Karen said, like, it's very independent work. Like, if you're, in the hole, they won't help you. And it's all about helping. It's all about helping where you see fit, stocking, busing, filling waters. Like a small thing can go a long way when you're
Yeah, it's a simple thing. Make everything perfect, right.
What stories have you heard? What other kinds of stories? I will read some of you of Rene Redzepi that he did, like like horrifying. I thought, this is a movie, a horror movie, almost.
My worst stories in the restaurant industry are about customers.
Okay, tell us some stories. And is it true that they spit on the food if you have a difficult customer?
No, never. Not where I've been. Not where I've been. Of course,
Okay, you
you
don't have
joke
to say
about
the
it,
name.
but
Really?
Karen, have you seen that?
I've never seen it, and there's always been discussions like joking around, like I've never seen it happen. I've only seen it happen in the movies or on a TV.
Yeah.
I know it has happened, but certainly not in my presence.
But you know what? Let's say it has, because we can't let them know that we're not. Like, they need to be afraid of being
Right? Yeah.
So
We'll keep them on their toes.
know what rare, medium, like know what that is before you send it back
Yeah.
for the third time.
For the third
We
time,
will
right?
spit
It's
in
like,
it. The sauce will have something
please,
special.
Just so there's this series that it's called The Bear, right?
Yeah.
And then they talk about The Bear. Have you seen it?
I actually
think-
have it in my notes to talk about because of your story.
Tell us about it then.
No. So your story kind of reminded me of that, where the bear, I haven't seen it in so long, so I don't know that character's name, but who Jeremy Allen White plays. He started off at like a high-strung restaurant where he's getting yelled at and like, it's high stress. And that kind of just reminded me of your story, or your story reminded me of the show.
So guys, you can see, do you know where you can watch it?
I think that's on Hulu, right? I don't know.
So it all started with the brigade system. Like in the 19th century, right? There was this guy in France that started that he was in the military too. So he started like, before that, the restaurants and the kitchens were a little bit crazy because it was one person doing the whole food, like if it was in your own kitchen, right? So food would come always late and it was a little bit disorganized. So he thought, as a military mind, let's organize it per themes, Somebody does all the herbs and the onions, somebody does saute the fishes, somebody that does the side dishes. So it would be more organized, so the dishes would come all at the same time for the same table. And this is called the brigade system. But this, although is very efficient, has evolved into abuse in many kitchens. So I've read some stories. There's an article in the New York Times that I read about it. Does the brigade system work or doesn't work anymore, right? And it's like, it's the abuse goes down and the credit goes up. So all the chefs and sous chefs get all the credit, right? That is, the workers are doing the work, the line workers, and they're being abused. So it's one goes down and one goes up, right?
Yeah.
And I've read some incredible things that some of the chefs, you can read it, that they did. For example, they punch you. This guy, Rene Redzepi, he would like, if somebody did or went on their phone or did something wrong for him or he didn't like them, he would get them out. It was Fruit and Call in Copenhagen, out of the restaurant with all the stuff and humiliate that person in front of everybody, telling terrible things to that person and humiliate that person in front of all of them. Then he will slap them, he will kick them, he will with a fork, he will hit them with a fork, stab them with a fork, a barbecue fork, he will choke them, all kinds of things, threaten them to kick them out of the country if they were illegal or their families. So everybody was afraid because, and many workers, they're abused because many are interns that are working for free 16 or 20 hours, so they make the money.
Yeah.
We have a friend, her daughter worked in was one of the most famous restaurants in the world in Barcelona, and she was an intern. She was telling us stories of how they abused them. They had to work 16 hours a day. They slept in a little room in an apartment that they got them. They barely fed them, and things like that.
Huh. I draw the line. They choked, slapped, and stabbed at work.
If you needed it, you want to experience the best restaurant in the world or a famous restaurant, how far would you go to take an abuse?
I wouldn't go far at all. No, I mean, there shouldn't be any abuse at work at all, whether the boss is high strung or not. I mean, at some point, somebody's got to punch him back or stab him back.
Here it says that in the dining establishment, which is based in Denmark, as I told you, has been preparing for an LA residency, but corporate sponsors pull out after the abuse claims and protests outside his pop-up location. So people protested in person. So what else have you experienced in a kitchen?
I've experienced, like, if you have a high-strung boss in the kitchen or chef, there's always someone that they're going to pick on. It just jumps from one person to the next to the next. And, if you're it that week, you're the one getting picked on. So it makes it very stressful. Like, there's this joke, don't walk in the crying. Do you know what a walk-in is? So a walk-in is the refrigerator where you
Right.
keep everything. So
Is that where people cry?
that's where people cry, especially in the summer when it's so hot out.
It's like everybody wants to get the turn to go into the walk-in, right?
The
So I'm
crying.
going now.
No,
Right,
but
right.
seriously, like, I know, like, being in the summer, so hot, you're bartending outside, and you're just like, I need to cool off, and you just let it out.
Yeah.
I've been there.
It's a perfect spot. Nobody. Yeah.
I never worked in a restaurant, and last week I worked for 2 days helping a friend in her restaurant, and they put me cutting eggplants, and it was endless and endless and endless, and getting things out from the basement. And really, I never thought it was such a hard job. You don't need to go to the gym if you work in a restaurant. You
That's
just
true.
need to get a membership for a massage every week or every day because
Yeah.
it's really tough. I couldn't believe I couldn't feel my feet anymore. I couldn't feel my arms, like cutting and the stress. You have to go. We're prepping is hard work.
Yeah.
Kudos and congratulations. I am so proud of everybody that works in a restaurant because abuse or no abuse, it's really tough.
Yes, even without abuse, even if you work at a perfect restaurant, everybody's wonderful to you, it's a hard job. Oh, really tough for me to say. I only had one really terrible bartending job out of the 14 I worked.
Where was the bartending job?
I'm not going to say the name of the place.
I didn't mean that. I meant, like, was it here? Like, was it where you were living somewhere else?
It was here. Yeah, it was local.
Okay.
And Karen is still local, so she doesn't want to say it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The place isn't open anymore, but I know a lot of the people that work there. And so I'm not going to say who.
Mm.
So, how is a good boss in a restaurant or a good manager? And what about the clients, Carissa, and you, Karen, too?
What makes a good boss? I would say, I mean, compared to this, anything. But anyway, listen and let you do your work without harsh words or micromanaging. Someone who actually knows how to do constructive criticism. Do prep is probably not the way they want to see it done.
After working in a rest, people by the collar, squeezing their arm, shoving them, throwing plates at them. These are people that talked about their experience in other restaurants too. In one, they would say in another restaurant, one guy experienced that if somebody made a mistake, then everybody had to say, punch him, punch him, punch him, all the other stuff. And then the chef would choose somebody that would punch.
Physical contact. Thank
Yeah, that's
goodness.
my life. Especially if I saw somebody else that was getting punched by another, I'd step in. What are you doing?
I can see you doing that.
Yeah.
I can see you, but you know what? I guess these are fine restaurants, fine dining, and the stress they are illegal. So he was threatening them and their families. The things that I read were incredible. Some of the ones that I already mentioned. Anything else, girls, you want to add to this?
What's
Do you have any?
better, emotional or
Yeah,
physical abuse?
emotional and physical abuse and mental. I think in a restaurant is very interesting because it feels like you're working in an emergency room in an ER because you have to move very fast, in a
Yeah.
fast pace to get things done. But it's in a good way. In an ER, you're going to patch people and save their lives. And in a restaurant, it's just to make them dine. And when I left the restaurant, the first guests that were arriving, it was so beautiful to see that they were enjoying the work that you had put in.
I'll say if you have a customer who is angry, they're all angry and they're hungry. If you get everything on time to them, then you change their life around during that hour period. Like
Yeah, yeah. At least for a short time.
Yeah.
that changed life.
What are the worst people you have seen, the worst clients?
I have one. It was summertime and I was serving someone out on outside. And she ordered a hot dog or something with a bun. I think it was like a burger. And the way the kitchen does it is they wrap the burger in a towel and put it in the burger bun in a towel and put it in the steamer so it doesn't get soggy, but it warms up.
Uh-huh.
And they have like, there's certain towels for that. So, I bring it out and she finds a little fuzz on the side of the hamburger. And I'm like, oh, that's just our process to warm up the bun. It's no big deal. Well, she made a huge stink about it. And she's like, what would you do in this situation? I'm like, the water stain off a spoon. Like, I would just take a speck out of the water. Like, what do you want? What do you want me to do? And she goes out of the restaurant yelling how I am so unclean and disgusting because I would do those small things.
You're so gross.
I think despite all I've worked with, it's who I've worked for.
Yeah. Were you fired after that?
Oh.
I wouldn't fire you, no matter what. And what if you found a hair on your plate?
Well, that would bother me.
Usually it's mine.
I'd like you to tell me, because we're crossing cultures, let's cross cultures with foods. What are your favorite international foods that you've eaten here or abroad?
Soup dumplings. Yeah. I love when you make paella, Christina.
Yeah, my paella is one of the best paella. But my favorite food is also tomato bread. We make it in Spain. Well, in my area, you wrap the tomato on the bread, you put olive oil and salt, and oh, it's so good. I almost eat it every day. The Spanish cuisine is very good, but everybody claims it's French or Italian. Like, we make paella. Oh, how is your risotto? ¿Cómo que risotto? No, risotto, paella is not a risotto. Risotto is Italian. And it's rice you keep cooking with the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Then, we will have tomato bread, what I just mentioned in Spain. Oh, like bruschetta. Como que bruschetta? That's Italian, and that little piece of tomato. They always think it has to be French or Italian to be good. So no, that's not it. One day, some people wanted to eat some Spanish ham that's called jamón ibérico. It's the best ham. And he says, will you bring me some prosciutto from Spain? I said, I'm going to give you a prosciutto slap on your head if you call that again. It makes me so mad.
See, you should be a chef. You should be a chef in a fancy restaurant beating people up.
You have the energy to be successful.
Or beat the customers up. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to share with you today also is sadly this week, American student went for spring break to Spain, and he went to a discotheque, and then he drowned in the sea because the discotheque was in front across the sea. He was like 20 years old, and they found that probably he just fell. They don't know still if it was drinking, drugs, or whatever, right? But my question for you is, what do you think about? Do you think that in America kids go away from home too early, too young? They're not mature enough. They go wild in spring breaks because like the drinking age is not until 21 here in Spain, and in Europe is 18 years old. Do you think that if kids were kept at home or near home, it's better until they grow up? Also, it was an accident and it can happen. I also did wild things when I was younger, and these things can happen. But I wanted to know your thoughts about it.
Kids are growing up too slowly today. I mean, we turned 18, we were ready to be adults and go. Too late. I think the economy and everything, they can't afford to be on their own.
I'm very grateful to be in my mom's basement right now.
Confessions.
Just think of our parents when they were getting out on their own by 18. The normal thing back then, parents, you're 18, get out, go. spread your wings.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got a lot of kids with video games and everything staying at home and not doing anything and stuff. But who am I to say? I have no kids. It's not even my place to say anything.
Oh, you can have an opinion.
In other countries, don't families live together for like a long time? They just have wings of the house. I think it's just smarter to live together. My
Yeah.
I
sister
think
has
it's
a
better to
daughter,
live
and
together.
my sister and her daughter, I would never see them leaving my mom's home. She has 4 bedrooms for what? My sister can prove that she can make it out there? No way. Spending like what? Now $2,000 for rent on a house, like on an apartment, is just a waste. We're
Well,
just
I think
grateful that we have parents
yeah,
that
I think
would.
I think the American culture is a little bit more about making money. So if you push them away, the economy moves also more because they have to find help, rent a place, they have to support themselves. So they need more work, right? They don't have family around. So they need, if they get married, they need childcare or elderly care, right? But if
Mhm.
you live together, you kind of support each other more. Karen, you live with your brother. How wonderful is that?
It's the worst thing ever. Believe I do not want to live with my brother, but he's out there. He's building a house right now, so he's staying with me. But this is going on 5 years. As when he came in, I need to stay for a couple of months. It's going on 5 years now, so I need him to leave.
This, you need to leave. Listen to this, right?
I want to be by myself.
You're an old lady, then you can't take care of each other.
I don't need my brother taking care of me. I love him dearly.
Yeah, brother, listen. You have to get out. Those 2 months turn into 5 years. It's very tricky when somebody tells you, I'm coming for a few days. Can I stay for a while? Then it's like, whoops. South America, Asia, European cultures stay more together, or south of Europe, or closer to each other. It's something I've seen a lot in the area where we live, in the Poconos, that people are very local. They grow up and they're local and they talk about their high school friends and everybody around them and their lives. So I think that's kind of, it's a little bit creepy, but it's cool too.
Yeah. I think it says a lot when you have the safety net. Like your brother was able to come to your house, Karen.
Right.
And projects like that on a house always take probably 3 times what you're expecting.
You know
If
too.
if not more.
Right? Yeah.
But
And I would have never said no to him either. So it's not like
Yeah, how can you say no?
but don't you think that 18 is too young to go away for college?
oh,
Far away?
18 too young to go to college. No.
No, far away to the other part of the country or
I think there are
far
pros and
away.
cons to it, for sure. But 18, I think, is just too young to get into unnecessary debt. You can go into college, but I think it's just like you're signing up for lifetime debt.
The way of not having debt also is don't accept any credit cards when they offer them to you. When I moved here to this country, I was yes, 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 yes. And then it was like, what am I doing with all these credit cards? You have to pay them back.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I hear
and
ya.
I think it's the best moment before they go to college to teach them about money and about credit cards and being responsible. Do you have any movies or books recommendations?
I'm watching currently, which I think everybody is watching, is DTF St. Louis. Haven't you guys heard about it? It's on HBO Max. It's with he was in the Ozarks, Jason Bateman.
Oh.
It's his new show, but you know what DTF stands for. So basically, it's about those two that are joining a website to have a fling. They're both married, but then one of them ends up dead, and so the other is being blamed for it.
Oh.
This or the whole thing is starting to work out. It's only 4 episodes so far. Brand new.
Brand new.
Yes, I
Okay.
saw this a little bit ago. David Harbour.
From Stranger Things.
I have to recommend you The Pit, also in HBO Max. I signed up just for that. Everybody has told me it was amazing. And yes, it keeps me up until 2 o'clock in the morning watching it. So I have to stop that.
Yeah, that's with the emergency.
Yeah, the emergency kitchen and the ER, right? So
Yeah.
let's stop it here. Okay, girls, thank you so much for joining today and giving your views in all these different things. And we'll catch up soon. Next month, well, let's see what you're interested in. Karen Stone, Carissa Gehring. Once a month, we have like a round table where we discuss things that have happened to us, happened to the world, things we want to explore. And in the meantime, keep crossing cultures as we do. Don't forget to follow us in YouTube, Spotify, and on social media, Crossing Cultures with Christina Luna, and once a month with these amazing women.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Christina.